everybody, welcome to Twitchetts. Today I'm going to share with you a fun way to base coat your rocks out so that you can make fun kindness rocks. You can put wonderful sayings on them and hide them around town. So I'm just going to get started while I explain what I'm doing here. I've got acrylic paint that I have watered down slightly just to give it a good pouring consistency. That way we can pour over our rocks. While this one's dripping, I'll let you know how we made our fun little catching container. All you need to do is take a tub, cottage cheese, yogurt, sour cream, something along those lines. I've punched out with a hole punch 4 slots and then snipped them out with scissors. The hole punch just gives it a nice round place for the skewers to stand. Then we're just taking wooden skewers like this and creating a nice little tray so that we can base coat and catch our paint underneath, and I'll show you what we do with that paint in a second. I've got my surface covered here with a piece of parchment paper, which is great because as the rocks dry, they'll release from the paper without sticking at all. So I'm going to base coat 1 yellow rock and then I'm going to base coat 1 teal rock. Now I've chosen these colors because, as you can see on some of the other rocks sitting here, if the color blends together, it actually is still a pretty color. It comes out this nice green color. So you want to choose the colors you use to base coat your rocks wisely when using this method, because eventually they're all going to be this color. So you want to go with a red and a blue, or a blue and a green, or a yellow and green, something that goes close to each other on that color wheel. So I just base coat it, let those extra drips come off, and then just grab it off there while it's still a little damp, and that way you can kind of dab with your fingers when you set it down and you won't get any finger spots. I've also got a damp paper towel I have just sitting here on the side on another plastic lid to protect my surface that I kind of dab my fingers off in between rocks. Now, after I've base coated 1 of each color, I'm going to swap over to my other tray here, like so. Remove my skewers. And we're going to do a fun marble style rock. So just place your rock right there, and it's easy because you can pour right out these hole spouts, and you're just going to go right on top and let those colors kind of go over the edges, and as you can see you get this really cool marbling style effect. I'll hold my rock down here so I can lift it a little closer so you can see some of those cool lines and designs. See if I can get even closer. Like so. And I'm going to pour on that little spot there on the edge. I just didn't want to drop the rock into the paint below. So let that sit just the same way. And you could pour a couple out of each time. I just like to go in a rotation color combo, because as you can see, a lot of it, I've already done a few, a lot of it will turn that green color where it mixes together. But you'll get some really fun, interesting rocks for you to write on, and you can do all sorts of ideas. Just writing simple things like, you know, you are special, or today's a great day, things like that. Now if your paint starts to get a little bit thick in the bottom, acrylic paint, the longer it's exposed to the air, will start to thicken up. Add water, and I mean the slightest bit of water at a time, because you don't want them to get really runny. If they get over runny, they won't stick to the rock as well, and you'll be able to see through certain spaces. So just get it really mixed in there if you add water. And if you find you did end up a little bit too thin with your paint, you can always go back and do a second coat on top of that rock once it's dried. Let's see here. I think we kind of are good. This might be a little bit thinner than I normally would like, but I don't want to use any more paint, so we'll just see how it looks. Right over, like so, and I want to get as much out of here as I can, so I'm just going to dab, like that. Ooh, almost knocked our rock over. Get Get it over all those edges, and yes, you can see through that one just a little bit, but that's okay. I mean, it will still be a base coat to it. I don't want to get any more paint out, but this is one that after it's dried, if you wanted to, you could do another coat, or you could go in and add a little bit more paint to it right now and go ahead and pour over it, but it's okay for what we're going to use today. So we've got that one, and I've got enough in here for another blue. I think maybe if I just stir this one up, it'll be okay. Yeah. So let's get one more blue rock here. Teal, I guess it's more of a teal. Like so. Get as much out of here as we can. And you could always go back in to your containers that you used with a foam brush or something and paint a little picture off to the side. I don't like to waste paint, so I'll probably have these out and use them for a quick little project here off to the side. So we'll get these out of the way for now. Let this drip off just a little bit, and then we'll do one more marble style rock. But what you do is just keep kind of going back and forth once you get to the bottom of your pour paints, and you can end up with lots of different combinations, and you'll end up with a few green rocks at the end too. So we'll take this, pull these off to the side, and we'll swap our containers again, and let's get a nice flat. The flatter the rock is for this marble style one, the more that paint design will kind of sit on the top and not all run over the edges. So it will kind of help some of it stay. There we go. See if we can put some more down here on this edge. There it is. Now, if you also, with your little craft stick, you can encourage it over the edges. See, I've got this spot here that doesn't have anything. If you kind of give it a little swirl, it will get over that edge just fine. See how pretty that one is? See if I can get it up there without it falling in. There we go. So after it drips a few times, go ahead and pick it up, move it to your parchment. Again, dab, dab, dab with your fingers a couple times while it's wet, and then you won't get those fingerprints on the side too bad. Let's do another one here out of this bin. We still have some more paint in here. We'll just kind of swirl back and forth on this one. Like so. And as you can see, they'll start to get more green as you go back and forth between the containers. So just make sure the colors you're blending will make a pretty color. Like this is a beautiful green, and it'll work just fine for making even more rocks. So we're going to let this drip drip, and we'll just go back and forth with the rest of the paint until it's all gone, so that we don't waste any of that paint. And see, like this one that ended up really light, we could always just go right over the top of that with some of this paint again. In fact, I'm going to swap over like so. We'll do a couple more of these, and we'll probably do that one last because it won't need very much. And just keep going back and forth until you use up all this paint, and you'll be surprised how many more rocks you're going to get out of this. So I'm not going to make you sit and watch all of them. When they're all sitting here dry, I'll come back and show all of them here. So I'll speed this up a bit. I've got all the rocks are base coated. I used up all my paint. See how many green ones? You can't even see them all here. I'm going to move this up. How many green ones that I was able to create as well from that paint. See if we can slide this your way without messing anything up. Look at all these. So we'll have lots of rocks to use to make our kindness rocks. So we're going to go ahead and let these dry, maybe even overnight before we go at them. But I'll share some pictures when we're done of some of the finished rocks once they have some of their wonderful words on them. So I hope you give this coating technique a try, and we'll see you soon. Bye. As you can see, all of our rocks are nice and dry now. We have these nice solid base coated rocks, some of our teal, some of them yellow, some of them with these really fun marbling designs on them. And then we have some that turned out mostly green, all very cool. Now your next step to make your kindness rocks is just to write something kind, something that if someone picked it up off the ground, they'd read, "You're amazing," and it might just brighten their day. So pick up a paint marker or paint pen. Posca makes really great paint pens. I'll make sure to link to those. There are other brands as well. Find something that works for you and just decorate your rock. Think of something that you would like to read, possibly. And don't overthink it. It doesn't have to be a paragraph. It could just be something as simple as, "You rock." And we're going to add an exclamation point. It's easier for me to work on a surface. Just like that. You rock. There you go. And then you can add some decorations around the edges as well if you want to. Very simple things. You can do dots all around. If you have paint pens, it makes it really easy to do these little dots. Something just to make it whimsical and fun. I'm going to continue to write on all of my kindness rocks. Lots of fun, kind words and happy sayings. I'll share a picture when they're all done. I hope you give this a try. Base coating some rocks and hiding some fun kindness rocks around your area to brighten people's days. You never know who's going to need it. Everybody have a wonderful day. Remember, you rock. Bye, everyone.